Mark Renison, the British champion of 1987. Now watch him on the right, 650 horsepower, and just look at the way he goes. So it's Renison leading as they go into paddock turn. And now look for Jonathan Palmer. He is fourth in the blue and red car in the X-Track at the moment. It's Renison leading. In second place behind Renison, it's Torholm in the RS200. And Torholm is a Norwegian driver. And Jonathan Palmer is coming up fast. He is in third position. And this is the first time that Jonathan Palmer has ever driven in a Rallycross meeting. He won the rally sprint last week. Now there's the gap. There's Palmer in third place as the leaders go into Hoppy's Drop. There is Renison leading in the RS200 with its very distinctive rear wing. Torholm, the Norwegian driver, in another Ford RS200. That is a four-cylinder engine, 2 litres with turbocharger, and Palmer is closing right up on them as they go. No, Palmer drops right back. Palmer is in 5th position. He's turning off. Palmer is turning out and off the course as Renison's door comes open. Four-wheel drive car, the door shuts, and there is Jonathan Palmer in the John Welch Ford Escort X-Track, joining his teammate. And John Welch himself had to pull off the course in a previous heat, and it's debatable whether or not he's going to be able to qualify. But with 1 lap to go, it is the British champion of 1987, Mark Renison, who has been in tremendous form all season in the DSRM Ford RS200. Look at the gap that he's now put between himself and Torholm. And Renison, after the first series of heats and then the second series of heats, is second fastest only to Niittymaki. Torholm seems to be in trouble. He's dropping back, but this is one of the top men here. Just watch the way he drives. Mark Renison, number 1, 25 years old, comes from Nelsonby. Now round the right-hander at Druids, he'll line it up for the left-hander, dive through Langley's gap, the four-wheel drive car along the knife edge to take the checkered flag for victory. And there is absolutely no question about the fact that he has qualified for the main final of the day. And there is a potential winner of the British Rallycross Grand Prix of 1987. Renison wins, home second.
We're now going to pick up the finals, and the commentator is Murray Walker.
Here is the man who has been out only once in the 3 heats this afternoon. He's the man who is second in this year's European Championship. It is Matti Alamäki in the Lancia Delta four-wheel drive car, and he must win this heat in order to qualify for the B final and then hopefully for the A final. So there is Matti Alamäki in pole position on the left. In the middle, in the VW turbocharged Beetle, Orjan Varlund. Completing the front rank, the British driver Barry Hathaway in the Clubman's specification MG Metro 6R4. In the second row is Bengt Wiklund, number 47, and alongside him in the Escort is Ross Browning. Then in the third row on the left in the white Fiesta, it's the multiple Lyddon champion and the man who's done so well on the continent, Trevor Reeves from Croydon. Alongside him, there is nobody at the moment, but it will be Anders Carlson if he comes out in his Audi Quattro. And on the right, in the yellow Renault R5 Turbo, is Roger Newbold. And in the back rank, you can see the distinctive coloured Porsche 911 of Dennis Atkinson. There he is, number 6. Dennis Atkinson comes from Milthorpe in Cumbria, where he has a garage business. He started his career in minis, went on to Escorts, ex-Croft champion, and there you see the RS200 turbocharged Ford coming up onto the grid. That's Wiklund's car, number 47. Those mighty nozzles in front of Dennis Atkinson's Porsche windscreen are to spray water on it if the conditions are muddy. He won't need them today. It's as dry as a bone. ready to go, and this is a 4.5 lap race, the first of the afternoon. Watch Alamarchi on the left. He doesn't get away particularly well, but now he does. He sprints into paddock turn for the first time very clearly in the lead. Now, Matti Alamarchi, number 11 in the Lancia Delta S4, four-wheel drive Group B car, outlawed from rallying at the end of 1986 in favour of the Group A cars this year. And this is the only one that is racing in Rallycross this year. And Alamarchi has taken it into second position in the European Rallycross Championship. He completes the first half lap in this 4.5 lap race, very distinctively in the lead from the Beetle of Örjan Wåhlund, the Swedish driver, who doesn't actually travel much to Grand Prix outside his own country because he's a bit strapped for money, comes from Master in his country. But now Alamarchi goes through, one lap completed in this 4.5 lap race. Wåhlund in second place. Barry Hathaway, the British driver in the Clubman's specification MG Metro 6R4, sprints down, tumble downhill in third position. Now he's being challenged by Bengt Wiklund. You'll see the Ford RS200. That's another outlawed Group B rally car. So there is Wiklund, number 47, in fourth position, challenging the about 280 horsepower V6 powered car and he's taking him. Wiklund is going to get through as they go to Hoppy's drop, but he's on the outside. Barry Hathaway closes the door in his face, which he's perfectly entitled to do. Rejoins the Grand Prix circuit in a gigantic slide as the leader, Matti Alamarchi, goes into the chicane. He's got this race very convincingly in his pocket. There's going to be no problem for Alamarchi to win, provided he can just keep going. And that should be easy enough for him. He had a turbo blow this morning, but that has been replaced. So it's Alamarchi leading in the red Lancia Delta four-wheel drive car with his comparatively flimsy bonnet flapping in front of him. And you can see the way the car is set up, well clear of the ground. Big suspension trouble, and Wåhlund is out. Wåhlund does a terrific spin. Meantime, Barry Hathaway goes up into second place. Look for the 6R4 in the background as they come down to the chicane with 2 laps to go. Now there's a real scrap for second position between Barry Hathaway in the red and white MG Metro 6R4. This is the man who won at Lyddon recently. He's the brother of Graham Hathaway, the ex-British Rallycross champion. And now Wiklund is trying to use the superior power of the RS200 Ford, but Hathaway will have nothing of it. Holds the outside, goes on the grass, is on the inside. Wiklund gets through. Wiklund up into second place. And now he should hold that because he's got a lot more power than Hathaway. The conditions are dry, and they're absolutely perfect for rallycross racing. So, as they go through on lap 3.5, as it were, it is still Matti Alamarchi leading very convincingly. A stab of flame from Wiklund's Ford engine as he goes onto the overrun. There is Alamarchi. He is now into his last lap. He is definitely going to qualify for the B final, and we might just be seeing the start of a pretty sensational run of success from Alamarchi, who bought this car at enormous cost, expecting more or less to cakewalk the European Championship of 1987, only to find that his Finnish countryman and rival, Seppo Niittymaki, had bought one of the even more successful Group B Peugeot cars, with which he, Niittymaki, has proceeded to win the European Championship this year. It looks as though the two Finns will be meeting if Alamarchi goes in the B final as he has in the C final, this one, because he goes now into Langley's Gap, across the knife edge, to win the B final and C final and qualify for the B final, with Bengt Wiklund in second position, Barry Hathaway in third place, Örjan Wåhlund in the VW fourth, Roger Newbold in the Renault 5 in 5th position, and the British driver Ross Browning 6th. But Alamarchi is the man, and he has qualified for the B final. This is the front row of the grid for the B final of the British Rallycross Grand Prix. The winner will qualify for the A final, and that decides who is going to be the overall winner. And to use a hackneyed word, in a sensational position there is Grand Prix driver from the Tyrrell 3.5 litre team of 1987, Jonathan Palmer, the world champion in his class. This is the first time he's driven in Rallycross, and here he is on the front row of the grid in the B final. And in his car we have a camera, so hopefully we're going to have some pretty terrific pictures. But in pole position is the Swedish driver, young Dan Andersson, 23 years old, in his first season in the Ford RS200 turbocharged ex-Group B rally car, which has been converted for Rallycross. And on the right-hand side of the grid is the 4 times British champion, Trevor Hopkins, number 2, 38 years old. But in the back row of the grid is John Welch, number 7, in his amazing new 650 horsepower Opel X-Track, in which he had a puncture earlier today, which resulted in him qualifying on the last rank of the grid of the B final. But if he wins this, he could qualify for the A final, as could, of course, all the others. So there's going to be some pretty sensational competition in this, because alongside Welch on the back row of the grid in the red Lancia S4 Delta is the man who won the C final, second in the European Championship of 1987, the Finnish driver Matti Alamarchi. So stand by for blast-off. And away they go. And Palmer gets a terrific lead. Jonathan Palmer leads into the first corner. The British Grand Prix champion, world champion of 1987 in the 3.5 litre class, is absolutely searing down, tumble downhill into the left and the right, up Halewood Hill, and he's leading very convincingly. John Welch looks as though he's in trouble at the rear, at the back of the track, but he's making up places already, as in this 4.5 lap B final, Jonathan Palmer, there he goes, number 78, 31 years old, comes from Dogmersfield. He is a fully qualified doctor. That doesn't matter now, because just look at the way he is going in his first Rallycross meeting. And Matti Alamarchi is coming up through the field. Look at him, he is in 5th position. He's come through from the rear of the grid to 5th position in just 1 lap. It's Palmer leading. In 2nd position, it is Vidor, the Norwegian driver. Then in 3rd position, it is number 32, Dan Andersson, who was in pole position on the grid, and that is the situation at the moment. But watch Vidor, because he is going extremely well. Here he is coming up in 2nd place behind Jonathan Palmer, still leading. Jonathan looking as though he has been in Rallycross all his life, which he most certainly has not. And it's a terrific end of season for Dr. Jonathan Palmer, because last weekend he won the Rally Sprint event here at Brands Hatch against the cream of rally drivers and other Grand Prix drivers. But look at the battle behind Palmer, with Vidar Southern in the Terrier Ski Ford X-Track Escort in 2nd place. And now we're in the lead with Jonathan Palmer approaching the chicane at the end of the first lap. It was 2nd gear there, now accelerating away, 3rd, 4th, up into 5th gear before paddock turn, over 100 miles an hour, then down through the gearbox, down, tumble downhill, off the Grand Prix circuit, onto the infield, down towards the S's, left, right. Now the 4-wheel drive can grip back on the tarmac, sprint up Halewood Hill, into Druids Hill Bend, 3rd gear, keeping tight to the right to prevent anybody getting through there. Now line it up for Langley's Gap. Now we're off the tarmac, back onto the cinders. It's giving good grip though, it's up to 100 miles an hour, across the finish line. Now, down through the gearbox again, braking hard, bearing right, dropping down, Hoppy's drop, back onto the Grand Prix circuit, and that's a lap with Jonathan Palmer in the lead. 2 laps to go now. Palmer still coolly and calmly leading Vidor Southern in 2nd position. Now in 3rd position, it's Tore Brackley, the Norwegian driver in the Metro 6R4 with twin turbos. There he is, number 36, Brackley, the Norwegian. That car developed some 700 horsepower, but still Vidor Southern can do nothing about Jonathan Palmer, who is about to start his last lap. If he wins this, it is indeed going to be a famous victory for number 78, the X-Track Escort. That's the car that John Welch drove last year, the 1985 Rallycross Grand Prix winner. Southern in 2nd place, Brackley 3rd, Matti Alamarki 4th. He's not going to qualify for the final. Palmer into the chicane for the last time. He's been caught by Southern, but it's dry. He puts all the power, over 600 horsepower. This car develops more horsepower than Jonathan Palmer's single-seater 3.5-litre Grand Prix Tyrrell, in which he won the World Championship in his class in Grand Prix racing this year. He is up Hillwood Hill. He's into Druids Hill Bend for the last time. He's got to line it up for Langley's Gap. Palmer looks as though he's going to win if he can get through Langley's Gap ahead of Southern, and he's doing it, and Southern ahead of Brackley. Palmer is going to win, and Palmer does just that. He wins and qualifies for the A final after an absolutely magnificent drive, with Vidar Southern in 2nd place, Tore Brackley in 3rd position, and Matti Alamarki defeated down in 4th position. 10 men forming up on the grid for the final of the Motaquip British Rallycross Grand Prix. And there is the man most likely to succeed. This is his last race before retiring, and it is Seppo Niittymaki, the champion of Rallycross of Europe in 1987. His car, the mighty Group B Peugeot 205, 650 horsepower, which he has just sold to Terjeski for a sum of money approaching £200,000, would you believe? But there in the background is Will Gollop in the MG Metro 6R4, 4th in the European Championship. And this, number 1, is the British champion of 1987, Mark Rennison, who, with Seppo Niittymaki, is tying for the fastest time at Brands Hatch today in his Ford RS200 turbocharged car, 650 horsepower. He was one of the victorious British Rallycross team in the Internations Cup contest at Croft last weekend, and Mark Rennison means to win this race. 25 years old, he may be going into Formula 3 single-seater racing next year, but what matters now is this final of the Rallycross Grand Prix. Making up the rest of the front rank, the single car of Michael Nordstrom, another Ford RS200, Will Gollop in the Metro, which has only got about 400 horsepower compared with the 650 horsepower of the cars in the front row in front of him. Then Martinson in the BMW M3 four-wheel drive, which develops over 700 horsepower, so he may well blast off. And that in the back rank, having won the B final in his first competitive Rallycross meeting, Grand Prix world champion in the 3.5-litre class, Dr. Jonathan Palmer. And now we are ready to go. It is a 4.5 lap race. The starting official is clearing the grid. It is any second now. And away they go, a searing start by Will Gollop with Seppo Niittymaki, but into the lead goes Michael Nordstrom in the RS200, and John Smith spins off in the background at the entrance of paddock turn. So now let's look and see how Jonathan Palmer saw it as he sprinted off from the line. There is John Smith, yellow and blue car ahead of him. Pekka Rantanen on the right, and Pekka Rantanen in the RS200 hits John Smith, who goes backwards into the Armco. Pekka Rantanen goes on, and so does Jonathan Palmer. That's 1 place gained anyway. And Seppo Niittymaki is down in 5th position. Seppo Niittymaki, who started in pole position, has got Michael Nordstrom in front of him. There is Mark Renison in second position. Will Gollop is in fourth place. Seppo Niittymaki, the European champion, in his last race before he retires, and he desperately wants to win this British Rallycross Grand Prix, is only in fifth place. And Renison's car is smoking very badly indeed as he goes through the gap for the chicane for the first time. It's Ole Arnesen in third position now, the man who won the British Rallycross Grand Prix in 1983. Nobody has won this British Rallycross Grand Prix twice yet. But still, Michael Nordstrom, 37 years old, the ex-four-wheel drive VW Beetle driver, leads Mark Renison. It's a 4.5 lap race. Ford RS200 leads. Ford RS200 smoking badly. Mark Renison in second place. He blew an engine at Croft last weekend. That engine has been rebuilt and put into this car, so it's still Nordstrom leading. Renison in second place, number one, the British champion, and he's being nudged by Ole Arnesen, who is a notably aggressive driver, the Swedish European champion from the past, 1983, and he has been the GT European champion 3 years, Ole Arnesen. So now, as they go into paddock turn again, down tumble downhill again, it's still Nordstrom leading, Renison second, Arnesen in the Audi Quattro four-wheel drive car, the S1, in third position. Fourth is Will Gollop, and still fifth position is Seppo Niittymaki. The European champion is being well and truly shown the way in this Rallycross final for the British Grand Prix, the only Rallycross event to carry the Grand Prix title, and now Renison is challenging Nordstrom with 2 laps to go. This race is developing between the two Ford RS200 turbocharged cars, the black and red one of Michael Nordstrom from Sweden, and now Arnesen is having a go at Renison, who has lost time. He slid badly, exiting the Hoppy's drop section. Now they go into the chicane, and they will very shortly be starting their last lap as Michael Nordstrom goes into paddock turn, down tumble downhill. It would seem that Mark Renison, unless he can close up on Halewood Hill, is not going to be able to do anything about the 37-year-old Swede in front of him. And back with Jonathan Palmer chasing Pekka Rantanen, as he has been doing for the whole race. Off the track, down, tumble downhill, down towards the S's. The brake lights from the RS200 in front stab on, and we're past Martinson's BMW M3. But even with the X-Track four-wheel drive and 650 horsepower, Jonathan Palmer can't get up alongside the RS200, let alone get past it, and there's smoke. Smoke from the cockpit. Through Langley's Gap, Jonathan Palmer is in trouble. He looks down, there's smoke everywhere, and there's no smoking allowed in an Escort, so off the track and out of the race goes Jonathan Palmer. 1 lap to go. We are now on the last lap, and Renison's door is open. Renison's door is flapping open. That happened earlier today, and they hoped they'd fixed it. But so, as they come into the last half lap in the British Rallycross Grand Prix, it's Michael Nordstrom, Ford RS200 leading. Mark Renison second, there he is. Ole Arnesen, the ex-winner, is third. It looks as though we are going to have a new winner. Jonathan Palmer, who won the B final, has retired. Will Gollop is in fourth position in the Metro 6R4. Seppo Niittymaki, the European champion, is still fifth, and open comes Renison's door again, and it's throwing him. Arnesen charges up alongside it. Look at Gollop. Gollop is up into second place. Fantastic bit of driving. Will Gollop in the Metro 6R4, normally aspirated car, and Seppo Niittymaki goes off. Gollop is going to finish second place, a magnificent drive, but the winner is Michael Nordstrom from Sweden, a new winner to join Rolf Nilsson, Ole Arnesen, Martin Schenker, John Welch and Andy Benzer, the past winners. The winner of the Motaquip British Rallycross Grand Prix of 1987, Michael Nordstrom, from a magnificent second-placed Will Gollop in the normally aspirated Metro 6R4, beating the British champion Mark Renison, who finished third, and the ex-European champion.